all know what gravity is, right? It's the force that holds us and everything else on the Earth's surface. Newton propounded the law of gravity, which means there is a force of attraction. However, there are strange places around the world where this gravitational force doesn't seem to work. It might sound crazy, but you must see it to believe it. Starting at number 10 is the mystery spot in Santa Cruz, California. This place was discovered in 1939 by inventor George Prizer, and that's why it's nicknamed Prizer's Zone. One day, on a walk, he started to feel dizzy. Something was off with his compass, which was rotating endlessly at a very fast speed. He then bought land in this place, which was smack in the middle of the forest. The house he built became iconic. There was something very strange about the house. You could stand in an inclined or bent position without falling. News spread around California, and people came over to see this phenomenon. The water would flow upwards, and once he tried to throw a ball, it rolled upwards. There's no proper explanation for why this house lacks the gravitational force. Isn't that insane? Up next is the inverted or reverse waterfall in Chile. This waterfall, which flows in the absolute opposite direction, defies the laws of gravity. The thing is, though, that it's not inverted. It's just that there are massive winds that make the water in the falls seem as if it's going in the opposite direction, from the bottom upwards. This also happens in different areas of the world. There are inverted waterfalls in the Faroe Islands, India, and Australia. Next up on the list is the Magnetic Hill in the small city of Moncton, province of New Brunswick, Canada here. The terrain rises and falls, creating a very interesting optical illusion. This makes the person seeing what's happening wonder about the place and what's happening around them. The place surprises all those who visit. The thing is, if a car is on top of a hill, it will naturally go down due to gravity. Things run very differently in Moncton. Cars travel upwards to the top of the hill. This has been happening for the last 80 years and happens in one specific spot. Drivers are seen driving upwards on a hill without any acceleration. Over time, the explanation has been that in this place, we cannot see the horizon line. Although these hills look like an incline, they are part of a larger downhill decline. Moving on, next on the list is the mighty Hoover Dam. This place is considered a key attraction in the eastern part of the United States. Just looking at the magnitude of this dam is head-spinning. It's quite big, but interestingly lacks gravitational force. If you visit the place, stand somewhere within the construction and pour water from a bottle down. The water doesn't pull down as usual. It flies upwards. The explanation behind this phenomenon is that the dam creates a powerful flow of air which pushes all objects upwards. If you bring your friends here, you can pull a few stunts by experimenting with their presence. Just be careful with what you throw down, lest it bumps you on the head. Up next on the list is the Cosmos Mystery Area. This area is like a scene from a sci-fi movie. Here, the laws of physics have been disregarded and nature has gone crazy. Located in Rapid City, South Dakota, it is one of the strangest locations in all of the Black Hill area. People question where they stand amid the lack of gravitational force. This interesting place creates an alternate world where mystery and science combine. It contains many areas that mess with someone's mind. Not knowing which is up and which is down is a true test of one's belief in the pull of gravity. This trickery is often perceived as paranormal activity. The case is that this building is built on a 20-degree tilt, which is only noticeable if you're standing amidst this chaos. Next up at number 5 is the Golden Rock in Myanmar. For countless centuries, this golden rock has been defying gravity. Located in Myanmar, the Golden Rock is a 611-ton giant. It's humongous, measuring 5 feet high and having a circumference of about 50 feet. It's situated in a Buddhist pilgrimage site that houses a small pagoda built on top of a granite boulder. These attractions become a beauty to behold, and the sun reflects their surfaces, creating a magnificent golden gleam. The rock is perched high on the side of Mount Kyaiktiyo and is said to be held by only one strand of the Buddha's hair. Whether this is true or not, it adds to the appeal of the Golden Rock. When you look at the rock, it seems as if it's floating in the air and maybe even on the verge of rolling down the cliff. The rock hangs down its cliffside by at least half its actual size. It sits above a vertical drop over the deep valley below. Many travelers and pilgrims come to witness this from all over the world. They lay food and gifts on the rock, believing that by that action, they'll be recipients of blessings. This golden beauty is worth the visit, but no one would want to be anywhere close to it were it to fall and slip. Next at number 4 is Peanut Street. One rule on Peanut Street is to be aware of leaving your car unattended at your own risk. The car might just get stolen by an invisible force. Peanut Street in Brazil has an invisible thief. The car left on this street seems to be slowly rolling uphill, gaining speed and fleeing the scene. best to engage the brakes of your car, or else you'll find that your car has gone with gravity. Some suggest there's a huge deposit of iron in the environment, causing the gravitational pull. In reality, it's argued that this is yet another optical illusion. The street appears to have a steep incline, but there's an unnoticeable dip in the road. Up next is another mystery spot. This one is in St. Ignace, Michigan. In the early 1950s, when surveyors were exploring the Michigan Upper Peninsula, their equipment became faulty and was giving incorrect readings. After close analysis, they discovered that the gear would only fail in a 300-foot diameter of the land. Here they discovered a mystery spot. It's reported that people who visit this space become lightheaded and confused. An optical illusion makes it seem that people are represented mysteriously. Objects and people change both in size and state. Many people come to check out the phenomenon for themselves. Next up is the Stone of Devasco, Argentina. When a boulder and gravity meet in a fight, gravity wins, but not this time. The Devasco stone sits nicely upon the face of massive rock formations. Before gravity pushed it over the edge, it was perched up on a hill, sitting comfortably and defying gravity. Imagine being taunted for years. Gravity was losing the fight and had to have been furious all the while. Before it fell, the boulder was 300 tons. It split into several pieces upon impact and is now replaced by a 9-ton plastic replica that has a stone formation around it. Whatever the reasons that caused its existence and its subsequent fall from grace, you're glad you were nowhere near the event. Imagine the noise that came with the fall. It had to be similar to an earthquake and would shatter someone's ears. And finally, number 1 is the Hudson Bay area, Canada. In the mid-1960s, Canadian scientists discovered that parts of their country were missing gravity altogether. 2 theories were put forward. The first was that there was a high current within the affected area's continental plates, hence decreasing gravity. The other theory was that Hudson Bay, Canada, and other surroundings are part of an indentation in the Earth that covered the area over 2.5 million years ago. It's believed that gravity will not fully recover in this area until the indentation slowly fixes itself. This has a special place in history since it was fully militarized during the Cold War, during which Soviet bombing raids occurred. Hudson has fascinated scientists and researchers for years for its distinctive shapes in the ground proposed as extraterrestrial activities. The area is super fascinating and would be worth a visit. Just one thing: keep your feet on the ground.